If the love doesn't feel like 90s R&B, I don't want it. It's your girl Candy Hustle, and you are now tuned in to Dope Chick with Ambition podcast. Let's go. Welcome back to Dope Chick with Ambition podcast. This is episode 112, and I love those numbers. I'm into numerology, like on the low, but those numbers are connected to my birthday. See, I was born on November the 12th, so I'm always drawn to 11s and 12s. And in numerology, the number 4 can represent, well, how do I get to the number 4? Duh. 1 plus 1 equals 2, and 2 plus 2 equals what? 4, right? Shout out to Beyonce and Jay-Z, right? And Mama Tina. They all are obsessed with the number 4 because of what? They're born on the fourth day of each of the month. So the number 4 represents in numerology strength, decision-making. It also represents like a symbolization of strength and foundation. And that's me. Like I'm a very like strong person, and I think I make good decisions. Well, I'm starting to make good decisions, right? It also represents like strong foundation and unity. I'm big on unity. And in the spiritual realm, the number 4 represents the 4 elements of air, fire, water, and earth, and the importance of hard work. I'm big on working hard, collaboration, and structure, and achieving goals. Yes, that's me. Yes. The number 444, which are like angel numbers, that's positive signs. I'm very big on positivity, and such as the sign of being successful. So I love that. So this is a very great episode. And the person that I have as the guest for this episode, he's into all of that. He's into spirituality. He's into astrology. So guys, when I bring him on and introduce, you'll understand. And then look, in astrology, the number 4 can represent people who are known for being dependable. He is dependable, hardworking, like I said, and getting things done. So I embrace all of that. And like I said, speaking of astrology, you all know I'm into signs. And the guest who's going to be on today, he is a fellow water sign. He's not a Scorpio, unfortunately, but he is a Cancer. So shout out to the Cancers. And it's water gang, right? My brother's, he's a Cancer. He's a June Cancer. And the guest, he's a July Cancer. Every sign, when we're part of the actual zodiac, each month is different. So June Cancers are different from July Cancers. So I would say this July Cancer is different because he's not a crybaby. He's passionate, but he ain't a crybaby. I think June Cancers are crybabies. I don't know if he's moody. You know, I haven't been around him in like his personal life, but he's super passionate and he's going to tell you like it is. So I think that's where he and I connect, and he's super supportive. Like I always seen him like show love on social media, and he's always supported me, like showing love, like, Candy, you know, what can I do to, support your brand? Like just always just been there. I'm like, wow, this is like really cool. So, personally, I connected and was drawn to him when I saw him on social media. Like he did a photo shoot, right? And it went viral, I believe. And I'm like, wait, what is going on here? And it was like an engagement photo shoot. And I'm like, oh, that's dope. You have to understand that sometimes when guys get engaged and it's a photo shoot, they're not really into it. It'd be like the girls, right? But to see a black man participating in something like that and really into it, it was like really dope to see. So he's originally from Harlem, New York. Shout out to Harlem. He's currently residing in North Carolina. He is a man of many talents. He's a photographer, a mental health advocate, an author, a marketing strategist, Truth teller, definitely. Yeah, I know I love truth tellers. And a black man who isn't afraid to love his woman out loud. Yeah, I know I love that shit. Like, love me out loud. Don't be trying to be too cool. You know what I mean? Like, don't be trying to be too cool. Post me, baby. Post me. Folks, give it up for my man, Marc J.Kelly. Hey, Mark.
Hey Candy, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, especially after such a powerful intro like that. I appreciate you.
That was powerful, brother.
Yeah, you put a little oomph behind
I
that,
put a
and
little
listening to, it was a lot of love and vibes, a lot of
vibe. Well,
good vibes.
I keep it real. It ain't no fronting over here. That's how I am. I mean, that's what I got from you. Ever since day one, I always will give you your flowers. So that's how it is
Indeed,
on this podcast and in real life. And every time you and I, we talk, it is always like a good time with you. You know how we always have to reserve time. Like, Mark, we going to be on this phone for a minute. Remember the first time we
right?
talked, we was like on the phone for like 2 hours. I'm like, Dad, brother, we
Yeah,
can
definitely
talk.
something like that.
Right. So, like I said, the first time I came across you on Facebook is because you went viral from your, I believe it was an engagement photo shoot. Now, did you set the camera up yourself for that shoot, or did one of your photography friends take the pictures for you? How did that
Yeah, I
happen?
got one of my photography friends to take care of the pictures and stuff.
Okay, now,
I told him what the vision was, and then from there, he knew what to do.
okay, did you expect for it to go viral?
Nah, not at all.
Wow. So everybody just started like reposting it and showing love because, like I said, like I'm like, who is this guy? And it came on my timeline and it was like all over I think I saw it on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah, I know it
I
went
saw
viral
it.
on Facebook and on Instagram. We were probably somewhere between like 5K shares on Facebook and then close to 10K on Instagram.
Right, right. So you've always celebrated, women on your page and been like very positive when it came to like women, especially black women. Did you grow up around women in your family, like a majority women, like women
Y-
cousins, sisters, stuff like that?
Yeah. I was raised by black women. My mother, my grandmother were pivotal there, aunts, like you said, cousins. So for me, having that as a baseline, I've always obviously loved the women in my life, but felt like that when you see some of the commentary in the social media space and all the tussling and going back and forth between the men and the women, I always felt like I could do something to shine a little bit of light,
Mm,
and bring some positivity to it, and maybe redirect the conversation, right? Because we're always talking about, oh, all these men don't do this, or all these women don't do that, and it's just like, first of all, it's not all, it's some.
mm,
And it's always important to focus on the good rather than the bad, because law of attraction says what you focus on is what will come into your life. So
mm.
if I focus on the positivity, then positive interactions will come.
I like that. Now, unfortunately, well, no, I can't say unfortunately because, like you said, the good things will come to you. So that relationship ended and that has allowed you to meet the person you're with today. So we'll just say that ended and it didn't work.
Hmm.
What made you remain optimistic while dating?
um that's a great question. I think that I generally am optimistic at when it comes to life.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I misstep or take a L or anything like that, I'm like, all right, we brush it off and keep it going. I heard you mention being from Harlem, and that's what we do. We hustle, we push forward no matter what. One of the greatest things that I heard Dame Dash say one time is like, if you're gonna be a hustler, then you got to learn how to be broke sometimes.
Mm,
And what he was referring to was more of the, if you're looking to live life, live robustly, you got to recognize that it's not always going to be bright. Sometimes it's going to be dark, it's going to be low. But that doesn't mean that the pendulum doesn't swing back in your favor. So that's kind of how I live and always think about things that way. So yeah.
Now, does the J in the middle of your name stands for jewels? Because you're dropping the jewels, Mark. I know that's right. I love it. Now, would you consider
Appreciate you.
yourself a hopeless romantic or a hopeful romantic? Or if you even use those type of like terms or phrases?
Yeah, I don't usually use terms, those terms like that.
Okay, that's
But
cool.
if I had to, I would definitely go with the hopeful romantic,
Okay.
where I approach, any dating scenario with, positive hopes and saying, okay, this has the potential to be X. And then I put the energy behind it. And then, you have to wait for the other person to either return that energy or show that they're not really with all of that. And then, it's like on to the next.
Yeah, I actually came into the hopeful romantic term because I used to say I'm a hopeless romantic, and I'm like, no, I don't want to put anything less when it comes to hope because that doesn't really make any sense, right? I want to
Right.
say hopeful. That makes more sense because I want to remain positive. I want to add to it and I want to, move forward. You know what I mean? I don't want to subtract.
Hmm.
So I want to remain hopeful um, with this dating journey because as we see, it's quite the struggle, especially for, Black women, especially in the cities that I'm in. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's it's
Hmm.
it's pretty, pretty rough.
So
However,
I've heard.
yeah, you have to remain positive. You can't really give into the negative. TD Jakes was saying something about you just have to keep going. It's like a marathon in a sense also, and then it's also like jobs, right? You know how sometimes you
Hmm.
have to keep applying, showing up, putting yourself in positions, and you'll eventually get the job that you've been applying for. And you're like, finally, it's just like you just got to keep at it, and you can't
Hmm.
be like niggas ain't shit because you'll attract ain't shit niggas, right? So it's like you
Right.
just got to be chill, and then you may have to take accountability. Maybe you ain't shit. Like, you know what I mean? You may have to do the self work. Like, no, honestly,
Right.
like, cause sometimes women be like really going hard on the guys. Like, you ain't shit. Well, maybe it's you. Like, are you
Right.
checking yourself? Like, are you really checking yourself? Is
Mm.
it your pooms? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like this woman, I don't know if you saw the video I posted. She was like, all five of her baby dads are gone. She was like, one baby dad, turned into a tranny. Excuse me.
What?
No disrespect to the trans community. I didn't mean tranny. One of her baby fathers transitioned to a
Hmm.
transgender. Pardon me.
Hmm.
The second one got kicked in the chest by a horse. He died.
Oh no.
Oh no. The third one, he went to jail because he wanted to became a pirate. So she said he robbed a
A
boat.
pirate?
Yeah, I guess she was trying to be funny, like he robbed a boat for the booty.
That's
Then the
funny.
other one, something happened, like he just left. Didn't want, you know what I mean? So now
Hmm.
sis, it sounds like it's you. Like all
Right.
five, you got six kids, all five. Wow. No, the
Right. At
last one
some
is
point, you got to take that accountability
right.
for whatever it is, whatever part you play in all of
Yeah.
this.
Like you got either well, no, it's clear that you got bad decision making because
Right.
yeah. And then the last one was 72. He's in a nursing home. He had dementia. So what she
Wait,
was,
how you up? You know what?
no,
I'm gonna stay.
you know what?
I'm
It is
chill.
Sunday. Chill, chill, bro. It's Sunday. Chill. I'm not doing this with you because I know you. Like, let's go.
Now we cool.
You
We
cool?
cool.
I'm right. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm cool.
You good? All right.
It's just a lot. It was
It was
just
a
a
lot.
lot of variation in what just
Mass
occurred
spiraling
in
like a
this woman's
snowball.
life.
Right.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just hit you.
yeah.
It just it got
And
worse at
it just kept
72.
getting
Dementia.
escalated as we went. It was like you started out with the transition, then the pirate, and then now you got,
The horse.
Sleepy Joe as your other baby daddy. Like, it's like, come on, man,
Yeah.
you messing up.
Yeah, because it sounded like what happened was you know how some women will be like, well, I'm about to get me a sugar daddy. And then the sugar daddy be wanting
Mm,
sugar. See, girls be trying to
right,
play like, I'm about to get me a sugar daddy. They don't want sugar. But then the old dudes be like, yo, I want sugar. And then you get
right,
a sugar baby. And then he be like, well, I'm about to go to a nursing home.
right.
Anyway, God bless him.
Crazy.
Yeah.
God bless him.
God bless him. So in our community, like I said, and you already pointed out, we have a lot of negative, a lot of back and forth of relationship, highlighting of the negative things, the conversations of men not wanting this type of woman, women saying they don't want this type of woman. Excuse me, man. Um, and I think you and I talked about this before you got into your relationship now. We're going to get into that in a moment, where the people that need to get together are missing each other. The
Right.
regulars, like the middle people, like, hey, the middle
Mm-hmm.
people are missing each other. They either want the ballers and then the regular guys want the baddies. What is going
Right.
on? Remember we were talking about that and you had like
Yeah,
some
yeah, I
really
remember. I
good
remember.
commentary about it. Like, what were you saying? Like, do you remember? Or can you
Yeah, I
like
remember.
elaborate on it?
Sure. Yeah, I think one of the issues is kind of the aspirational culture that we live in. Like everybody's always trying to reach for the stars.
Mm,
So they do that when it comes to relationships too. And like you said, everybody in the middle is missing each other. It's like, yo, you need to kind of play at your level, and it doesn't, I know that doesn't sit well with some folks, but the reality is that the universe and God gonna show you exactly who you are based on how things go. Right.
right.
So if you're looking at trying to get with some baller dude or trying to get with a Instagram baddie, it's like is okay, the aesthetics are great, but do you guys relate to one another? Are y'all into the same things? Right. It's like if somebody's whole entire life is about photography and being an influencer, but you work a corporate 9 to 5 job, how does that connect? Does it connect? It can, but a lot of times people just skip over all of that because it's the lights in their eyes that they're trying to find the glitter. Whereas, if you were dealing with and dating people that are kind of in your bracket, so to speak, then, you could become the baller, family if you wanted that power couple. It's just a matter of y'all coming together and working together. The issue is that too many people are selfish and they're always looking at what they can get versus what they can give. And when you do it that way, you're backwards, versus if you look at relationships and pretty much life as a whole as how can I add value here, then that's when the value will come to you. And I always say, and then if you lead with, love, kindness, and peace, and people don't respond to it, well, then you just treat them like the terrorists that they are,
Mm,
because it's like, what did I do? What did I do wrong for you to receive me wrong, and to treat me in this way
right.
versus, you coming in with that positivity.
Right. If I'm putting out good, why are you trying to treat me like I'm a bad person or trying to treat me like I'm ill? You know what I mean? Like, like I'm only coming
Mm-hmm.
at you to treat you well, and you trying to treat me like I'm a lame. And
Right.
then you would want to spin the block after all of the dudes that you couldn't get either treated well by. You come back like, oh, well, Johnny, now I wanna baby girl. I'm on to
No, it's
somebody
quiet.
who saw me, saw me, and
Yeah.
now they're appreciating me and they're enjoying all of that I have authentically. You know what I mean? You coming over
Mm-hmm.
here
Mm-hmm.
like a about to try to last option me? F you.
Yeah, ain't no way.
Yeah, ain't no look, ain't no way. Mm-mm. Ain't no way. And that's what a lot of women I I think women do that more than men. Would you agree?
What, in terms of like spinning the block after playing the field, or
Mm,
just spinning
yeah.
the block as a concept?
Um I don't want to say playing the field, but because I don't know if I want to say playing the field in a sense because I would say after not being selected in the field
Mm,
because they're not really they're not really playing the field because women are sometimes strategic in the sense they're not really in the field, they're on the sideline, right? They're waiting and
right.
they're trying to be selected in a sense, right? So they're not really probably, outside too much. They're trying to be selected, but they're not really outside, if that makes sense. I want my husband,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't go outside. Well, how can you be
Yeah, that's
chosen?
never gonna work.
Right, that's not going to work. But then they'll say, well, my husband didn't come find me. Let me call Steve Urkel to see if he's still available because I knew he liked me in 8th grade and he treated me really nice.
Jesus.
And now
Right.
Steve is Stefan.
Mm-hmm.
He glowed up. He found himself. You know what I mean? He's now
Mm-hmm.
confident.
Mm-hmm.
He's him. And it's like, girl, I don't want you. And you don't even look like 8th grade.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, nah, women do that. And then, or they'll get with the guy they didn't really like, and now they have to grow to like him. You know what I mean? They just looking miserable
Yeah,
like,
I've never fully understood it. I've heard many stories around this, and I just always say, like, how do you? I don't know how to fake it. I'm not a fake person. So the moment this is not jobbing right, like, I'm honestly, I'm out. I have a conversation or two around it and try to, see if we can nip things in the bud, or, you know, grow together, or make that even ground, that compromise. But if you seem like, that you're digging your heels in and this is what you do, then I'm gonna just let you have it, and I'm gonna go do what I do in the spaces where that's celebrated and appreciated.
yeah, I like to be celebrated. Like I need, I gotta feel you. I gotta feel it equal. And everybody always says, my grandmother never told me this. And I be like, Grandma, why you never told me this? But people be like, my grandmother said, a man should love you more than you love him. And I'm like, well, why do people keep saying that? But that's what people say. And I'm like, damn, my grandma never told me that. But my grandma's been married, and my grandfather loved her, how they say, stinky drawers. Like he's a very attentive man. He's a Virgo. She's an Aries. She doesn't want for anything. She gets princess treatment. He's always just
Hmm.
been very attentive to her. He's always just did everything. But I sometimes felt like that was like crippling in a sense. But
Hmm.
I'm not
Why you say
married
that?
because I feel like, Grandma, I'm not telling your business. And I'm not judging you because she be listening to this podcast. She's like, don't be talking my business.
Nice.
I love you,
Love the
Grandma,
support.
but right. Some I'm not, Grandma, I'm not telling your business, but I'm just saying. Um, Sometimes, like if someone does everything for you, say if they decide to
Hmm.
be like, I'm out, what can you do for yourself?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I'll say that just to
It's one of those. Okay.
right. That's all I'll say. And then you guys can go from there. Because I got to respect my grandma, That's my grandma. I got
Yeah,
to do
nah,
it.
and
And she listens to this
there's nothing
podcast.
wrong with the dynamic, right? It's just
Right.
like you said, that in case of emergency, right? If they
Exactly.
leave on their own power or for some other reason, it's like,
Right.
are you set up to take over?
Right. Can you fend for yourself if anybody be like, all right, it's done. You know what I mean? So my
Hmm.
mother, damn, she listens to the podcast sometime, but my grandma really listens a little bit more. Um, she's never been married, and she does of course she's single. She'll be like, okay, I do
Hmm.
everything for myself. So I saw both dynamics. My mother's a teen mother, so of course I grew up with a married household. You know what I mean? So I would see both because of the fact that I had to be raised by my grandparents due to the fact that my mother was a teen mom. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
then I then had the second half of my life that was brought up with my mother because of the fact that, she was like, okay, now I'm an adult. I can go ahead and raise my child and we can move out. But I did grow up under a two parent household with my grandparents or whatever. So it was
Nice.
like best of both worlds in a sense, or whatever. But um, my next question would have to be, what conversations are you tired of the the Black community having when it comes to the relationships and marriages? What conversations are you tired of us having?
If they don't get the entire F out of here
I
with
know what
this
you want.
50-50
I knew it.
nonsense,
Yes, I knew it.
it
I knew
is
it.
the number one hit.
Son,
Like survey says, right?
50-50.
Like that's the number one hit
Oh my
because
God. I'm sick
it's a
of it.
mess.
I'm sick of it.
It's
What's your views on it,
the
Mark?
there's no we're not doing numbers, percentages. We're not keeping track. We're not keeping score. Right. Let's
Right,
start with that.
right.
Um, Honestly, I can end with that too, but for the sake of the podcast, um, no, seriously though, it's like if you're in a relationship with someone and y'all are building a partnership, I don't understand how you are taking stock of how many dates you paid for, or who's shopping for who's putting money in whose pocket and how much. And then it's like, I never lived like that. To me, that's like a very selfish mindset that you're coming in when you think about things that way. And I understand that some people could point to, having been hurt or having situations where they gave more and they felt like that didn't pan out for them. But there it is, right? Is that you're leaning in too much, then that's kind of your fault. If you feel like you gave to someone and they didn't give back, because you still have to pay attention to that, right? Like, we're not going to just totally cancel that out, because then you get caught up where it's just a one-sided relationship and, somebody's being taken advantage of.
Right.
But, in a real partnership, it's, I do for you, you do for me. And it's kind of like the end after that. It's like when I think about the stuff with my woman, um, I do stuff for her, she does stuff for me. And we don't keep any track of it. It's not even something that's ever come up. We share responsibilities around the house, stuff with the kids, financial stuff. So it's like, I don't, it's like I've operated this way my whole life with other relationships and other spaces. So for me, it's like when people are kind of what I call leaning back to see how far you're going to lean forward. For
Mm.
me, I don't lean forward. I just sit straight up. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you who I am, what it is I bring, how it is I roll. And if you're not matching that energy, then that tells me everything I need to know. It's not, it should be naturally 50-50 if you want to do a thing, or naturally 100-100, which is really more important, because the ideas that we're giving ourselves and presenting ourselves to our partners so that way they can do the same, and then we can build and grow and do all of the beautiful things. But if you're not doing that honestly and earnestly, then you're never going to get there. And I think that a lot of times, when we're talking about these relationship dynamics and conversations, like you said earlier, it's like, are you paying attention to what you did and what you did to add into the fact that, your relationships aren't lasting? Because we all have something that we need to be accountable for.
Facts. Like, it's just like you said, partnership. You don't have to keep tabs, but it's similar to group projects. You know who contributed and you know who didn't. You fucking know.
Right.
So don't act like you put anything towards this project when we turn this paper in. Like,
Right.
when
Just play
we,
it cool, play
yeah,
your position. We're gonna do
yeah,
the presentation piece, and you just stand there and smile and change the slides. That's your
right,
job.
right. And then honestly, if you have a conscience, like if I like when people have a conscience, like it fucks with you if you know that you, like, I can't let you do that. Like, nah, let me put something towards something. Like, that's me. I can't go out to like dinner and not be like, okay, well, let me at least leave a tip. And then if you say nah, then that's like, okay, boom. Because you'll have somebody just be like, I'm the type of person, if I see people start cleaning up, I'm not just going to sit there. I want to start helping them.
Right.
Just by be like, okay, nah. Those are people that be like, they're tapped in. They want to contribute. They help. They're
Hmm.
helpers. They're a part of it. Then you have motherfuckers that just literally will come, eat, put their feet up, and they don't do nothing. Mm,
Right.
those
One
aren't
of
my
my
type of
favorite sayings
people.
around that.
Right. What's the
Yeah, one of
sayings?
my favorite sayings around that is, everybody wants to come to dance, but what happens when the music stops?
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Who's
what
there to help you
happens?
clean up?
Right. And look, I don't look. I'm never gonna ask. My mother, she's that person. Yeah, she'll bitch and cry about stuff. I'm never gonna do that. I just take mental notes, and then I know when I have another thing, who to invite.
Hmm.
It's very simple. It's no part twos. I don't
Right.
need to bitch and cry about it because I've already made my inventory in my head. I make mental notes, right? And they say, well, why you
Hmm.
didn't invite? Because remember the last time? You knew what you did.
Right.
When you came to this motherfucker the last time, you knew that you didn't. Scorpios are we take our little notes. I'm not about to part to it. Why do I have to do this
Right.
full theatrical situation thing, waste my breath, and then you get me pissed off because you won't like me when I'm mad. And then when I'm mad, then you be
Right.
looking like, oh, you mean. So I'm not gonna waste my words. And if I waste my word, then I'm, yeah, then get real dark, and then you don't want that side.
Yeah, you don't want that smoke.
Yeah, and not saying I'm the baddest in the land, but I don't want to get to that part, so I just won't say anything. I just won't invite you because I don't like. You're not my type of people. Look, so always be looking like, look, you aren't my type of people, so I won't bring you around because I just don't like how you get down. I don't like your vibes. So for that not to happen, I just won't bring you around. You're nice.
Right.
You're just not my type of people. Yeah, that's it. So let's get into this part. This is my favorite part here because it talks about things that I really, really enjoy. So I want to point out the fact that you are a smart man, right?
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're really, really smart. Like, I think you're like a genius because your current girlfriend is a Scorpio.
There I go. There I go. Right.
No, you are smart.
I see where you playing. No, I see what game you playing. That's cool.
No,
I'm sitting here over here ready to bask in all the compliments about my intelligence and some other stuff that you've observed over this time and all this other stuff. You nah, son, you got a Scorpio, you smart.
Wait, before I go any further.
Okay, that's all it
takes.
takes.
This one time I was on a train, this nigga gonna walk up to me like a rose for a beautiful woman. And I'm originally from upstate, right? So I'm downstate now going to FIT. So look, I'm on a train like, oh, thank you. He was like, $2. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
Nigga took his rose back like, so you wanted $2 so the fuck I'm not beautiful? He fucked my day up like, yo, that just hurt my heart the whole day. Like, I'm just walking through the city like, I'm just busted. Like, the bum wanted $2. Like, but no, you are smart. No, you are smart, Mark. But no, you're. I don't know about you being a genius, but you are smart for choosing Scorpio.
Yeah, genius is aggressive.
Anyway,
I know my stuff, but genius is aggressive. I'm a genius in some areas, though, in my opinion. But that's a whole different conversation.
Hey, Scorpio sister, she is an October Scorpio, I believe. I'm November, but if you do not mind, can you tell me a little bit how y'all met?
Sure. We met via the internet. We met via Facebook.
Oh, okay. What's the
Facebook? Because when I moved to North Carolina, I joined like a couple of Facebook groups that were like local and, got together, had events and stuff. And she used to run one. And from there, I always say like, I don't mess with the help. So once I see that she was like one of the, like, what I call top tier, I'm like, oh, okay. Not only was she attractive, but she got some motion. So from there, that was when the crush started, as I call it. And it took us about 2 years or so before we actually was able to link, just because, she's a nurse and she works nights and her schedule is crazy. And then during the time I was driving truck, so my schedule was crazy. So we just never got together, but we would talk here and there and do the whole thing. But then when I moved to Charlotte, she lives closer to Charlotte. So it was like, oh, okay, now we need to, bridge that gap because there's no excuses. And then when we finally did go out together, we kind of just hit it off and we have been inseparable since.
Yes. Okay. So I like that. So your story is very similar to many as far as how we are connecting these days. A lot of relationships are starting via social media, via dating apps. So it is very common. Now, I will have to keep it 1,000%. You guys have a very steamy, magnetic energy. I be looking at pictures like, damn. I'm like, I gotta get me a Cancer. Like, it's very intense.
You might want to get you one.
You look, holla at me, Cancer. Like the intensity, like you guys are really locked in. And what I will say from what just looking at you guys interact via social media, you guys match each other energy. Like nobody's not doing more than the other. So if you post her, she's posting you, she's tagging you. I've seen situations where one time I went to like a homie's page and I'm like, damn, am I on his page or her page? Like, damn, like all you saw was her tagging him and it looked like she took over his page. But if you go to her page, you don't see him, you know what I mean? Him on her page. Like he don't tag, she pretty much was doing all the tagging. But y'all, both show each other off on social media. So Is that something that you appreciate, that she matches your energy, like your love language?
Yeah, most definitely. That, and it's funny because the before getting with her, I said to myself that I wasn't really going to post anybody anymore, just because of some um not so good experiences with it in the past, and not from my perspective, but sometimes the women, they're not really into it. Something goes off in their head, and then it turns into like a whole thing. So I said, all right, next go round, I'm gonna just be reserved and, kind of play it by ear. And the beautiful thing with her is that, she has her own presence and brand and all of these other things. So, posting us is pretty much second nature for her. So for me, it was like, oh, okay, we live. All right, bet. So now I can
Yes.
actually post and do
And be
what I
you.
do, and
Right.
not feel like, oh, you might get in your feelings about something because somebody in the comments says something, or somebody shares the post and wants to talk smack on their page or something like that. So because that does happen, right? And she's gone viral before, I've gone viral before, and one of the things I always say is like, don't read the comments and don't read the shares at a certain point, because when you're viral, you're getting everybody now. Like anybody who sees it is jumping in, and you never know what you're gonna get. You're probably going to end up having to delete comments depending on which direction they go in. So I always say, like, don't read the comments and the shares, but enjoy it, right? Like, bask in the fact that people, they appreciate you. Um, yeah, because there was this one thing I wanted to just cap this off with. This coach that I know, he's like, when you think about social media, a lot of times people get bent out of shape because they don't have a lot of likes or a lot of interactions or comments. But it's like, if you take 5 seconds to really take stock of who interacts on your page and how many people there are, if you were in real life and 20 people came up to you and said they like what you were doing and they supported it, you wouldn't feel bad. You'd feel pretty good about that. Versus on social media, if you only got 20 likes, now you feel like you failed somewhere. And it's like, nah, like, you have to just enjoy it for what it is, because those 20 people are rocking with you heavy. If you got 100 likes, that's even more better, because it's like, if you had 100 people that came to you in real life and said, yo, I like what you're doing, keep doing that, or I support what you're doing, that's pretty good. So, it's kind of like shifting your focus and your perspective on it. And then once you do that, it's really just about, living out loud and just being present.
Right. That's funny that you mentioned that piece on the likes. I actually have a piece on that I'll be talking on towards the end of the month. So I want you to listen to that because I have some feedback on it. I was on Threads. I don't. Are you on Threads?
Yeah, I'm on Threads.
Oh, okay. I had got into. I didn't get into it. I had had an exchange. On Threads, it's very unique because it's just like a feed, and you can just jump into anybody's mix.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Right.
jump in, and so the girl was just saying like, if your friends aren't liking your stuff, they're not your real friends. And I'm like, whoa, how are y'all coming to those conclusions? And so I'm looking like I don't want people to get caught up on likes. So I have my POV on likes, and so I'm gonna share that at the end of the month. So be sure to check that out,
Cool.
guys.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm
Thank
definitely
you.
gonna tune in.
Definitely, it's just my motivational fix, little quick gems on that. So but I appreciate your perspective on it as well. We all have our different outlooks on everything. So the reason why I wanted to point it out, if you heard it, I don't want you to be like, the fuck, Candy? Because it's going to be
Oh,
similar but different. It's a different outlook on it.
all
So
right.
I like to just give heads up because I don't like to ever be blindsided by things myself. So I like to be transparent.
Appreciate
So
you.
as far as transparency, you are a transparent person because you're a truth teller and you've always been like open. You've been smiling a lot recently with this relationship, which I love. I always just acknowledge that with you, like, yo, you're vibing, you're good. So when it comes to your mental health, you've always been very open. She's good for your mental health, I feel like. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
She definitely
Scorpios,
helps me ground and,
yeah,
you know, remembering that being present.
exactly. We are known to help people and heal and transform, right? So we can tap in and we, even though when we have our own shit going on, we can still lift you up. We can be warring with ourselves, and we'll be looking like, you can do it, and we'll be having a fucking like war in our inside our old head. But but you've always been open, and I'm gonna share something with you. I never told you
Please.
this. One time you were
Uh-oh.
having it's not anything bad. Um Excuse me, I had to get some water. You were being open about what you were going through. You know, you've always just used Facebook as your journal, you know, because that's what you wanted
Hmm.
to use it for. And so you had a young lady come on, and she, you know, everybody's always giving you advice. And, you know, when you be on your shit, you be like, don't tell me about therapy. Don't do this. You know, you be like telling people, step off. And
Hmm.
so I clicked on the girl's name because I be in a cut. When you be going through your shit, I'll just be in a cut. I'm not going to say nothing to you because you've already told people back the fuck off, especially if you don't have anything that's going to be useful or anything new to help me out. Leave me alone. I'm just venting. This is what I do. And everybody that knows you knows. We just be minding our business. The people that
Hmm.
really don't know you or know how to get down with you, they will intervene or interject. And then the people that really know will be on the shit. I'll be like,
Right.
we be in the cut.
Yeah,
Like
y'all
me and
hit me up
Jazz.
personally. You get the
Yeah,
call or text or, you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? I direct contact.
Right. Me and Jasmine, like I don't see Jasmine on there. I don't see the people that be really rocking. We'll be in the cut. Like Mark just, and then you'll come back like, all right, guys, I'm sorry about that. Like, or if you don't say sorry, you just be like, all right, make sure y'all here's the Sunday service or the Sunday sermon. You just proceed. You just
Right. Just
proceed.
keep moving.
Right. Like just
Just
like
keep
me.
moving.
I may have my little moment. I'll say something like, the person pissed me off. All right, guys, have a happy Saturday. Like, it's just like
Right.
it is what it is. And so she went on her page and she had some words. Of course, I'm never going to tell you the person, and then I'm not going to tell you what she said, but this was a minute ago.
That's cool.
So I went under her thing.
Ain't nobody I rock with heavy though, is it?
I don't know if you rock with her. I don't think you rock
Uh,
with her heavy because she said she don't really know you like that. I think that was an exchange.
oh,
And so
well,
I
there you
went under
go.
her page and I was like, I said something to her or whatever. And then somebody came in my DMs, one of your friends, and it was like, yo, I appreciate it. It was like, yo, that was dope what you did. Like, I gotta find the message and I'll send it to you, but I ain't never want to say it to you because, like, like I don't do stuff just for like applause. I just saw it and I
Right.
just went to her page. Like, I bet she going on her page like somebody, and that's what people do. People always do that. People are corny. What happens is that if you have a disagreement with somebody, they're always gonna take it to their page and they're going to
Right.
give their audience their POV because it's always three sides, right? It's your
Hmm.
side, their side, and the actual situation because we all have different lens, right, of what really went down. And then it's
Right.
the real lens of what actually transpired, right? Because we all see things differently. And so when she went on her side, she was like, so it's this guy who's, you know, using offensive words, he's having a
Hmm.
spiral, all of this stuff. And I was like, well, actually, you did this, and this, and blah, blah, blah. And da da da. She's like, well, no, da 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 da. I was like, okay, respectfully, da 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 da, boom, boom. And then one of your friends DM'd me. He was like, yo, that was nice of you to. I was like, yeah, because that's my people, da 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 da. And I was like, I don't have to tell him that I did it, but I went to her page and I saw it and I said something to her. So I rock with you in real life. We've never met, but this is how we create bonds in our day and age.
We got to fix that, by the way.
When you come here
One of these
eventually,
days when I'm in the A.
yeah, when you
Well, I've
come.
been in the A a bunch of times. You be busy though.
No, the last time you came with your shorty. Yes,
You
I
right.
remember. Thank you. You in a
Right.
relationship now, Mark. You have to move differently. You know what I mean? When
I
you come,
mean,
when you
yeah.
come, when you came before, I think you came in an area that was far from me. You didn't really come to the
Ah,
city. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Atlanta is big as fuck. When y'all be like, I'm coming to Atlanta, and I'm like, where you at? Oh, I'm in Morrow. Oh, nigga, that's not by,
Right.
you know what I mean?
That's
It's
not
so
by
big. Yeah,
nothing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that ain't by nothing.
I'm in
Listen, I had to
McDonough.
learn that when I came down that time when I was actually in Morrow, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
this is
I
not
remember.
Atlanta." Like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
because I was down there for this
for the
co-worker space opening.
exactly. I remember. So I'm looking like, oh,
Look at you
Mark,
remembering stuff.
you're a minute away from me. I'm looking like, yeah, we can't link because you were too far. And then the other time you had came with your shorty, and I'm looking like, oh shit, I ain't gonna be able to, see you right then and there. And nothing wrong with me seeing you with your girl, but y'all had a plan. I think y'all were
Yeah, we
coming
had
out here for a
itinerary and
concert.
stuff.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
that type of stuff, I don't be wanting to intervene. Now, if you say, Ken, I'm coming out, we gonna do brunch, meet me over here, then I'll be like, all right, cool, I could pull up. That type of stuff, I don't mind pulling up, getting like a coffee or, something like that, and then link. That's how I usually do with like my cousins and stuff. They come out, I'll see them that way. But if y'all on a move, I'll be looking like, well, where y'all gonna be? If I gotta get a ticket, that'd be all hectic for me, honestly. I'm gonna just keep
Right,
it
right,
real.
right. Yeah, nah, it's all good.
But yeah, if y'all leaving out or something like that, like, oh, grab breakfast with me before we leave out, I can like do stuff like that. No doubt, I can always do that at lunch.
Cool.
Um,
I definitely keep that in mind.
oh
Make
yeah,
that
just let me
happen.
know when you come over that way. Then that's much better for me. Just to we could grab a slice or whatever, that type of stuff. Now,
Mm-hmm.
is marriage a goal for you these days, or your
Yeah,
lady?
we're
Your ass marriage
we
is
talk about that quite a bit, and you
okay.
know the funny thing is that we do things almost like a married couple as it is.
Uh huh.
So at the point of when I decide to propose, which I'm trying to come up with like this really, I hope she don't listen to this, but
Don't say
I
nothing.
come
She
up with this
is
really,
because we're
nah,
gonna.
it's all right, it's all right, nah, it's all right, she can hear, she know.
Oh,
Um, but just something really dope. Like I wanted to do something really dope, something memorable, for her. So I've been taking a little time to, you know, piece it together. That's as far as I can go right there.
right. Because it's been a
But
year, right? It's been a year.
yep, a little bit
Okay.
more than a year,
A little
probably a
over a year. Okay.
couple of months in. But
Cool. All right. So you already know we are in the scouting phase as far as cuffing season. You're beyond that. You're in a committed relationship. So I'm happy for you. That's why I wanted to bring you on. I wanted to bring a black man that's in a relationship with a black woman just to show y'all that we do have black love in our community, just to have a positive example because I'm tired of the narrative that, black man and a black woman cannot get along. And this is a real man as far as the whole thing is social media love, like the perfect image. No, he's a normal guy. This isn't fake. She's a normal woman. She has, when I say normal, I'm talking about he doesn't have the aesthetic of the um lifestyle marketing. She's the
like those
IG.
perfectly
Yeah, the
manicured
perfect.
pages
That's what
and
I'm. The cookie cutter image. That's what I'm talking about. These
mm-hmm,
are
mm-hmm.
your. These are real people. These are your ideal people. She's a nurse. He is a entrepreneur. He's a photographer. These are your uh, average people, and there's nothing wrong with being regular people, folks. You do not have to be these. Instagram is not real. Social media is not real. It does give you aspirations to and goals and say, oh, I want to, have this. But everything that you see is not goals for everybody. Some people don't want to be homeowners. You know what I mean? Some people
Right.
enjoy having
Mm-hmm.
apartments. You know what I mean? Like, your checklist is not my checklist. Like, y'all got to stop doing that. But I do want to start putting positive examples in your face. Don't believe everything that y'all see. Start cleaning your timelines a little bit and start following positive things and tapping into more healthy content. Yeah, I know we listening to a lot of different and I'm not shading the casts that do relationship stuff and they bringing things on where they're giving you tips, but some of that stuff is not healthy. You know what I mean? Where they're just telling you like
Mm-hmm.
the men aren't any good, the women need to do that. No, listen to stuff that's going to motivate you, encourage you, pour into you, and also something that's going to be positive instead of focusing on the negative, like Mark said. So, Mark, can you give us some tips for dating, um, for men, I guess, even for women, like dating during cuffing season? If you just want to share like a few tips.
They could not do it and then don't worry about nothing. They'd be cool. They could just stay outside. You know what I mean? Hot boys and hot girl summers, they don't have to end. You can just
Hmm.
go into the fall and it's hot boy fall, hot girl fall, and then maybe in the spring it might be better for you. You never know.
Hmm.
Nah, I'm joking. But I'm joking
Ronnie,
but
cut this
serious
nigga
all at the
mic
same
off.
time.
What the fuck?
Nah,
Nah, but no, he's saying pretty much what
dating
he's saying
tips.
in a professional manner. Don't feel pressure to cuff something, right? Is that what you're saying?
Hmm.
Okay, for
Pretty
that
much.
part.
I was being playful in terms of my delivery, but yeah, no, like it's not. Yeah, it's quote unquote cuffing season, but like you said, there's no reason to feel like there's some pressure because when you think about like some of those memes that are shared and they start giving you like the timeline of what you should be doing by what Christmas and New Year's, like we're supposed to be in some space where the new joint that you just got with, we supposed to be in a space where like now I could bring you around the fam and all of this other stuff because that's a little aggressive because that's about 4 months, right? Like
Hmm.
you should meet maybe a friend or two and maybe a couple of people that's in a family if it's just by chance, but to present them as like the boo on Thanksgiving and you only 3 months in, that's crazy.
Yikes. All
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like that's a bit much, so I always say like when we think about cuffing season, it's like this for those who I'm like, all right, I'm not listening to that, I'm still trying to get my boo or my joint or whatever, my woman, my dude. um you got to just take your time and be patient. You can't rush things for yourself or for them. You have to
Yes.
let things develop. You want to have open and honest communication about what your expectations are, where it is you would like this engagement to go, whether it's a situationship type of play or we really gonna actually get together and do things, because sometimes a situationship a lot of times it gets a bad rep, but there's a lot of people out here who are in what they call a lane now, ethical non-monogamy,
Mm.
which depending on how you look at it, it's like having situationships as people have defined that, where you got this person that you date and deal with, and then maybe there's another person that you date and deal with. You keep everybody in the know as much as they need to know, and that's pretty much it. So, whether you choose that level of transparency or not, because sometimes it's what I don't know don't hurt me for some people. Um, just keep the flow open and honest, because the only thing that's going to happen in the back end is more arguments and more reasons to cut somebody off because somebody wasn't being open and honest about what they was trying to do or how they was flowing, how they was getting down. And you don't want to take the decision away from somebody to be like, okay, I'm dating other people, how do you feel about that? I also think that people put too much stock into one dating interaction, right? Like you find this one chick or this one dude that you kind of feeling. So now you start putting all this pressure and energy into figuring out what they on and getting them to swing to your, side of things. And it's like, you know what? If maybe had a roster, as the people like to say it, you would at least have other people that you can kind of spread that energy with. And then, like I was saying earlier with the 50-50 thing, it's like, you get to feel them out and see who's really rocking with you and who's kind of like lukewarm, and then
Facts.
when you figure out who's rocking with you, then that's when you put that extra energy in. But, to have it all on one person, regardless of whether you're dating multiple people or not, you still got to have that. I call it pacing. Don't try to do too much too soon unless, hey, listen, sometimes it flows like that and y'all both are on the same page. Then, live your life, live your life, B. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to get someone who's lukewarm with you to be hot on you, that's not the play. And a lot of times in dating, it's like people are doing things to try to impress people, peacocking, as I call it. And it's just like, nah, you don't have to put on a show for the person who really likes you. The people who really like you, they just like you for you. They're not going to need you to, take them on 800 dates or, make sure the date is a certain dollar amount or any of that type of stuff. Nah, they just gonna like you for you, and you could go to the coffee shop and get it popping, and that'll do what it needs to do.
I love it. And ladies, I really hope that you all like zoned in on the tip where he said, don't put your eggs, pretty much what he's saying is don't put your eggs all into one basket, because I think that that's what we do. We will latch onto one person and then be out here looking crazy when he don't pick us or when he don't have time for us, because men date, they be having a roster. Women, get your roster and don't feel bad. Like, you know what I mean? I think the younger
Yeah,
girls are starting to do that. We didn't really do that back in the day. I mean, if you did, that's fire, but we was really just having like one guy. Oh, I'm just talking to one guy and then just like being a good girl. Nah, like date them all, honey. Because that's what you're
yeah,
supposed to,
I
date them
agree.
all, not sleep with them all.
Right.
Do what you
I
want
was
to do
going.
with your
Yeah.
vagina, but of course wrap it up. But don't sleep with them all. And then of course, get tested, um, my charts and all of that stuff. Get that information shared and do what you do.
Hmm.
But date them all and have fun and protect your heart. 3 stacks. Now, tips for a man,
Right.
tips for a man, honey, that's interested in dating a Scorpio woman. Let them know how to come, Mark. Go, Mark.
Um, you got to pull up
Tuh,
straightforward with no
mm,
games,
tuh,
none of that nonsense.
tuh,
Everything that I was just talking about,
mm.
right? You got to come with the open and honest, because the one thing that you'll learn about a Scorpio is that they with it, whatever it is.
We with
If
it.
they into you, they with it.
Mm.
So if you say, "Hey, I want to do this poly thing," "Hey, I'm doing the ethical non-monogamy thing,"
Wait,
"Hey, I'm just,"
wait,
go ahead.
wait, hold on, what? Wait. Some Scorpios may do the
Hold
poly.
on, hold on, hold on. I was getting somewhere with that,
Okay,
because
hold on.
it's
Yeah.
not it's not direct. Like, oh, okay, we about to just have a bunch of people or another woman or whatever it is. But if that's the direction that you're trying to take something, a Scorpio woman would be like, all right, so listen, I hear what you're saying. Here's my parameters. Does that work for you? Right? Like, it's like a
Okay.
counter, like it's almost like a counter offer where like some women would just, I say they dance, right? And I tell my girl all the time, like, please don't dance with me. And what I mean by that is like, you don't tell me how you really feel about the situation. I'd rather you tell me like, hey, that poly, like how you was just about to do, like, nah, that poly mess, I'm not with that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that
Yeah,
ethical
we gonna keep it
non-monogamy, I'm
one.
not with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we
You
gonna
know,
talk.
and
Yeah.
yeah, because if you sit here and let the gray area become a thing,
Mm-mm.
then the gray area will be a thing.
Mm.
Um, so when you're dealing with a Scorpio woman, it's like, be prepared to maybe even park your gray area if you operate in that,
Mm.
because if you're going to deal with her and be interested in her, she's not
For the week.
necessarily, definitely not for the week, because it's a funny dynamic between, like, she wants your attention, doesn't need all of it, and you got to be able to navigate what that means for your ego, because you might find out like she's not entertaining other guys, but they've been around.
Mm.
So now what you gonna do about it?
Mm. What
Are
you
you
going?
gonna now crash out because you find out that she talking to other people or have been talking to people before you stepped up? Because that's the thing. Like, I would say, like, whether you got a roster or not, there's like unofficial rosters, as I like to call them, where it's just conversation. You might have hung out once. It's not really going anywhere, but there's seat filler. And some people get intimidated by that, or people get turned off by the fact that the person that you're interested in now had a life before you and they just didn't close it out yet.
Mm. Ronnie, make
You
that a
know,
sound bite. I'm telling my business. All right, that's enough, Mark. Don't give him too much. Don't give him too much. I think you gave him
I
enough. Them gems was coming about them Scorpios. It's almost our season. But yeah, this was an amazing episode. What I want you to do now at this time, you are great. I want you to let them know, because you're a man of many talents. Plug your businesses and let them know how to support you. Let us know about your Instagram, social medias. Also, let us know about your girls' businesses and stuff like that, because she's bomb in North Carolina too.
definitely, definitely. You can find me on Instagram under the Marc J.Kelly, THE Mark with a C, J Kelly, no EY. And then I'm under Marc J.Kelly on Facebook. In terms of my brands, you can check out my luxury self care brand at www.luxuryselfcare.com. That's LuxurySelfCare. Jesus Christ. I don't know how I messed that up. But yeah, luxuryselfcare.com. You know what it was? It was too easy to spell.
Right.
And then you start thinking about it too hard and in the delivery of the word.
It's okay. It's
But
okay.
anyway,
LuxurySelfCare.com.
luxuryselfcare.com is
Okay.
where you'll be able to find, candles, body oils, body butters. It's a whole, basically, like my girl likes to call it, we're the Black Bath and Body Works. Definitely
Yes.
check out the site. And then also for her brand, I created a brand for her called the Spicy Red Collection. You can access that through luxuryselfcare.com. There's a tab right there at the top. You can go through and look at her brand. She has a manifestation journal as well, that a lot of the women have been, digging in and checking out. So definitely look at that. I think that's about it for today in terms of promo. I think once people connect with me, they'll see the other stuff like my photography. If you want to book a session, just slide in the DMs and we'll make it happen. And yeah.
Okay, it goes down in the DMs. Marc, I want to just ask you if you can give us a gem just to close out the session, and that'll be it. Well, the podcast, I'm talking about the session. I'm in a studio, so that's why I'm saying it. But just drop a
Oh, I
gem
thought
for
you was treating
us.
this like therapy.
You know I'll be giving people therapy. But yeah, go ahead and drop us a gem.
You got to give me I got a lot of gems. Give me a direction. You want a mental health gem? You want a get money gem? You want a relationship gem?
Whatever's on your soul, brother. Give us what's on your
I
soul,
bet.
brother.
So I just gave 3 pillars. Make sure you're focusing on your mental health, keeping that clean, so that way when you're trying to get your money and build your relationships, that everything runs smoothly for you.
Bow, 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 bow. Look, it's
Bang
so
bang.
effortless. It's so effortless. You do this. Off the
Bars.
dome. Bars. You want to be a rapper? I could sign you. I just need my 20%, brother. Let me just get the 20%. Be a manager. All
Should
right,
have been
guys.
records.
Right. Yo, such and such records. All right, y'all. So
DJ
it is
such and such.
right. Y'all, it is a wrap. It was an amazing episode. This is a long time coming. He been supposed to come on the show, but better late than never. Y'all, be sure to leave me a review on Apple Podcasts, not just 5 stars. Talk to me nice and let me know how you are feeling the podcast. You can also go on to YouTube and subscribe, and you can listen to the episode on YouTube as well. I will be over there on the visual soon, but don't meet me there, beat me there. So go ahead and subscribe on YouTube. And I do want to thank you for checking out Dope Chick with Ambition podcast. Mwah. It is a wrap. Later.